Good morning, everybody. This is Candace from Integrated Fitness of Dover, and we are welcoming you to another Wellness Wednesday. Today, I have the pleasure of introducing Dr. Tom Grebouski. He is a clinical psychologist, and he works with clients to achieve goals when cognitive and emotional obstacles are getting in the way. So I feel like that's a lot of us that you can help, Dr. Tom.
Oh,
He
thank you,
also
Candace.
specializes in the treatment of anxiety and related challenges that impact adolescents and adults. And today he is going to talk to us about mindset and kind of the psychology behind the mindset of dieting and why we shouldn't diet at all. And I will let him take it from there.
All right, thank you so much, Candace. And I have the great privilege of talking with Candace Lord, who's the owner and personal trainer extraordinaire at Integrated Fitness in Dover, New Hampshire. And Candace works with, or business works with many different kinds of clients that range from athletes to competitive bodybuilding to individuals that just want to reshape, resculpt, and redefine who they are through improving their bodies. So Candace, I'll turn it back over to you.
Yeah, so I want to start off with a question to you of and this is a big question, so this might take a while, but what is the number one challenge you find with your clients? Because I know you work with a lot of athletes. When it comes to the mindset behind dieting and why it's so difficult for people to stick to a diet, or yeah, let's start with that. What is it that you see most frequently of why it is so hard to stick to something that really should be really simple?
Well, I think, Candace, it goes back to the reality that diet is a four-letter word, and it doesn't really illustrate what the person's trying to accomplish, because it is something we do for a period of time and then we fall away. Our brain decides, based on how our subconscious brain operates, that it likes consistency much better than it likes some temporary change we're making. And that's where the fad diets come and go. And we've all heard of Atkins and South Beach and paleo and keto and on and on and on and on. But when we look at it from a diet perspective, we have a set goal to lose weight in some way, shape, or form, or for some athletes to gain weight. But we're not recognizing that the reality is the diet itself is not the important part. It's how we start to think about our food in a positive way rather than a negative way. And diet has that negative connotation, whether we like it or not. Our subconscious brain, when it hears the word diet, goes to that place of, well, this isn't going to be good. This isn't going to be fun. I can't do this. I can't do that. And it starts to move us away from that particular approach that we were trying to get to in the first place. So shifting away and removing the word diet 100% helps individuals to begin to look at it for what it really is. It's a lifestyle.
I like that. So just changing the words.
Change the words. Words have a lot more power than we give them credit for. If you think about, sometimes we go through our day, I need to do this. I have to go and do, or, I gotta. It takes away all of our energy to do it and creates stress. So the energy we get is through negative stress rather than through the positive. I really want to accomplish. I really want to go to. I really want to get to. I really want to sculpt myself in a way for your bodybuilders, or I really want to move my health in a good direction with the foundation that nutrition is that most important piece. If I'm going to become healthy, if I put garbage in, I get garbage out.
It's very true. I coach a lot of clients for to help with weight loss or weight gain, and my approach is very similar to yours, where they say things like, people will be like, oh, but I can't eat that, and but I really want this and I can't have it, and it's changing the can't mindset to I don't want. So if you want to lose weight, then you also have to change what you want to eat. You can't, otherwise you're constantly butting heads with yourself.
Mhm.
Every time you say, I can't have that. No, you can. You absolutely can. But you are going to choose not to. And
And
that is where the willpower comes in, and willpower has to be exercised like a muscle, I think. And yeah, it's a really great it's a great mindset. So how would you recommend people start changing that mindset? Because saying, okay, well, I'll just do it, I'll just change it,
Yep.
it doesn't happen like that. So what are some steps that people can take, maybe that in the beginning, to change their mindset?
To a certain extent, Candace, it can happen like that. If they start off every day with an affirmation that they create on their own, something that they can tell themselves and condition into their mental scape, into their mindset. For example, my affirmation every morning is, I can and I will. And I use that to approach my day, no matter what challenge comes in front of me. I can and I will. It takes away the barrier. Our brain doesn't hear the negation. It doesn't hear, I don't want a donut. It doesn't hear don't.
And here's donut.
It hears, I do want a donut, is what it actually processes. I'll give you an example, and I use this a lot with my younger clients. Don't think about an elephant. Whatever you do, do not think about an elephant. Do not smell an elephant. Do not see an elephant. Do not see all the fuzzy little hairs on an elephant. Do not see a gray elephant. Just don't. You can't do it. Your subconscious brain starts seeing an elephant. So when you say, I don't want a donut, your subconscious brain sees a donut. And then your subconscious brain sees the Dunkin' Donuts sign, because there's one everywhere.
Everywhere.
And that then challenges you, because you're telling your subconscious brain, I actually do want a donut. So be honest with yourself. You do want a donut. It's okay to want the donut. Once you understand that you do want it and don't expect yourself not to want it, then you can make a conscious decision. I do want a donut, but I want to be healthy more. And I want to be more fit. I want to have more energy. So I'm not going to eat that donut because I want to be fit. Now, there's nothing wrong with an occasional donut.
I was just gonna say, I have a comment about donuts.
There's not much right about a donut, but
There is not much wrong either. Let's be honest. There is nothing wrong with a donut.
A donut, if your goal is eliminate all sugar from your diet, incredibly hard to do, especially in America, to eliminate sugar from your diet. If that's your goal, teasing yourself with your crack cocaine of a donut is going to make it just that much harder for you to work your way forward. Cold turkey is much easier in the long run when it comes to things like sugars, because of how our body works with it.
Yeah.
But it's very hard. If you look at the labels, and I know you do.
Yeah.
If you look at the labels, there's sugar in most things. My favorite hot sauce has sugar in it. It doesn't need sugar.
What's your favorite hot sauce?
Sriracha from Trader
Oh
Joe's.
yeah, because it's sweet.
My absolute favorite hot sauce, because I like to mix it with coconut aminos, and then I use that for my sashimi.
Oh, my mouth is watering.
Mine too, now that you said that. But that's my lunch for today. We had sashimi yesterday, and I always make enough for 2 days.
Yeah.
So I'll be enjoying that today. But no more of the Trader Joe's sauce, because unfortunately, there's sugar in it.
Yeah.
So I'm now using volcanic ash mixed in with the coconut aminos. And if you don't know what volcanic ash is, definitely take a look for it. And we both know the owner for that one, but Mackie can definitely get that shipped out. It's worth the money, because you really don't need much.
I don't use as much as Mackie does, but yes, volcanicashhotsauce.com, locally made, super delicious.
Way to go.
So you don't eat sugar. Is this something you've taken out of your diet?
Sugar is something that I'm still working to take out of my diet, because it's sneaky. It's in so many different things that it's very hard to get it entirely out of our diets. So I'm probably 90% at this point. And
you're talking about added sugar, not like fruit and things like that.
Correct. I'm talking about added sugar. The only added sugar that I use is monk fruit sugar at this point.
Yeah.
Which is finding a replacement. I can have sugar in my espresso, only a little bit, because I don't like a lot anyway, but using monk fruit sugar because I can have sugar. It's not I can't have it. It's that I choose to have a healthier version of it. And
Yeah.
yes, I eat apples and I eat those sorts of fruits that certainly are a little bit higher in the sugars, but it's making that choice to eat in a way that achieves a goal that you have. And for
Yeah.
me, the goal is a healthier body.
Yep.
Ultimately, that will allow me to perform at higher and higher levels.
Yep.
And
Yeah.
that's back to
And
your,
everybody's body is, and this is what what I have to explain to my clients. Everybody's body is different. We're all human, but we all are very different. And where you're looking at taking out sugar for health, that's fantastic. But I also love to teach balance, or try to get people to teach balance, because I find you've obviously done a lot of work. I mean, and this is your bread and butter is psychology. So you can, you understand your brain more than the average person. I tend to find that when people try to completely eliminate something, they end up crashing and burning and then overindulging in those things in this repeated cycle of I'm going to get rid of, I'm not going to eat carbs. People who are like, I'm going to go like no carb. Like, why would you do that? I eat like 400 a day. But again, everybody's body's different. And if you're an athlete that's burning a ton of fuel every day, you need some sugar. Like you actually need it for, but then there are people who are super sedentary and like the last thing you need is that sugar because it's going to spike your insulin, which is going to then spike the hunger centers of the brain. And so you have this whole process. So it is interesting to see the spectrum of what your goals can be. But I think the purpose of this conversation really is about figuring out what your goal is, understanding why you have that goal, being okay with your goal, really being okay with it, and then doing the things that are going to get you to that goal and wanting to do them. So if you don't want the process, you ultimately really don't want that thing as much as you think you do. So it's about the journey, not the destination.
in a way it is, with an eye on the destination and helping yourself to remember that what you do ultimately want is a healthier body and a more functional body. So that if you keep an eye on that destination, which is a moving target anyway, as you commented earlier with me eliminating sugar, that's not the first thing in my diet that I've adjusted. And my nutritional program, you're absolutely right, it's not the first thing. It is not low-hanging fruit to eliminate that particular one. So not at all, not at all. And
that is like the top of the tree.
But I encourage people to absolutely work with a nutritional coach to help them understand their bodies and what their body requires to perform the way they want it to perform in the things they want it to do. I'm not a marathoner.
No.
And unfortunately, my work is sedentary, but I do enjoy athletics in different ways at different times. So I'm working with my nutrition in a way that allows me to do that. But that's the ultimate goal. And if you keep the goal in mind, then you can make the smaller decisions. So I've decided, I'm not going to eat donuts from Dunkin' Donuts. If I go eat a donut from Dunkin' Donuts, it's okay, because I made a decision on that day, in that moment, to go and have that donut. And that's okay, but nothing wrong with that. If I allow myself to realize, okay, I made a choice and that's okay. I didn't cheat. That's the key word. I didn't cheat on my diet. I made a decision to eat something that I wanted to eat, and I'm only going to eat one, and I'm not going to eat one a day now because I ate one. Because when you give your brain that message, oh, I cheated, I blew it, it's over. That's how it all goes. And down goes the entire nutritional program that you were on.
In my world, we call that F-it syndrome. The F word being the important part of that. Oh. So I tell that to my clients. You can't get F-it syndrome. Like, well, the whole day's screwed, so whatever. Yeah. And then it's not, you didn't ruin the day. You enjoy the donut and move forward, move on. And for people who follow, who log their food, who follow a macro plan, you haven't eaten anything else for the rest of the day yet. You can still adjust the rest of the day. If you plan on having a heavier dinner, maybe have salad and fish or salad and chicken, or, instead of the heavier dinner that you were going to have to compensate for your donut. It can fit. And this is what I love, why I love teaching, trying to have balance, because you can eat what you want.
Yes.
You just can't eat everything you want every time you want it, but you can eat. People ask me, especially when I'm getting closer to stage, like, oh, you must be starving, and oh, you must you must not eat any carbs. It must be so difficult. And when I tell people what I actually eat in a day, they cannot believe how much food
Yeah.
that
And
I
I think
eat in a day.
that's the beauty of working with a professional who knows how to balance nutrition for the desired outcomes. And that's not my realm. I refer all of those individuals that I'm working with that have that concern over to somebody like yourself, who can handle that end of it. My realm is where the brain comes in, and you nailed it in terms of the Effin syndrome Effett syndrome, is to be able to recognize that you don't throw it all away because you make a choice. But that's the power in the cognition of recognizing, I want that donut. And you know what? Today I'm going to choose to have it. And we're, kind of bashing on donuts a little bit today, whether it's a donut or a chocolate bar or
It's pizza. It's pizza for me. I have a problem.
Yeah, pizza's my weak link as well. Love a good slice of pizza. Spent over a decade in New York where it really truly is different pizza. And that's my weak point too, with all that wonderful cheese and sauce that goes with it.
Oh,
And now my mouth is watering again.
yes.
So today I will not be having pizza because I'm not in New York, and I will save that for a time when I get back to New York. And that's where the decision comes in. But if I happen to go into some takeout someplace and the pizza looks really good, there's a good chance I'm going to decide to have a slice. I'm not going to decide to have a whole pizza. I'm going to decide to have the slice and then get back to my nutritional program. And I don't call it a diet because it's not a diet. It's a lifestyle, and it's moving forward in a way that I want to, until somebody like yourself says, okay, you maxed out that program. Now, to get to this place you want to get, or to do this thing you want to do, let's add in some more sugar over here. Let's add in some more carbs over here. Because that's really where the difference is, I think, when people fall away from these sorts of diets, is they read about it on the internet and they hear all the successes, because nobody gets on there often and says, I completely blew it and this is how. That's so rare to see. We've all got those Pinterest moments that we're looking at. Everybody's one best thing is on Pinterest, along with these kinds of approaches. Yeah. It's not typical to make a major lifestyle change without some coaching, without somebody in your corner to say, okay, here's where you go and here's how you do it and here's how you get there. And that's where you come in, because that's your specialty of tweaking those intakes for balance, so the body can metabolize it most effectively and store the least in places you don't want it stored, and work forward. So when you're working with a client, how do you help them to understand balance? Because this would be helpful for me when I'm trying to get somebody to you.
So honestly, I do recommend therapy to a lot of my clients, especially the chronic yo-yo dieters, the ones who've tried everything, because I would say 80% of what I teach my clients is psychological and mindset based, and 20% of it is actually nutrition information. Most people don't need to know exactly what's in everything and how your body metabolizes it and what kind of energy cycles it's going to go into. And, people don't need to know that. What they need to know is, you know what that is? That's my vacuum.
Okay.
Hold on.
Now, taking a short break in the conversation so Candace could address her vacuum. Real life happens.
That's okay. We can edit it.
Yeah, no worries.
Or not. Or we can leave it because people can know this is real life. I have a Roomba. It's wonderful. And it runs every morning at 9.
It is real life.
So people don't really need to know that. They need to know generally what's good for them and what's not, which people know. And, cookies, donuts, pizza, not so good for you. Fruits, vegetables, whole grains, fish, chicken. Maybe some people include dairy. I don't really think dairy is too good for you, but that's my personal opinion. But most people know that, and so it's like, it's really difficult to be a coach. And as you know, because you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink.
Oh, you certainly can. I'll tell you how in a minute.
Okay. So you stick its head in the trough. So I start off with first we collect data. I ask everyone to keep a food journal or use MyFitnessPal or something on their phone to get an idea of what you're eating. Just that in and of itself is a game changer, because the second you actually have to write down how many cookies you ate, you have to write down that you had the donut and pizza on that day. Oh, and how much alcohol did you drink? So the second that you start writing that down, even just that for some people is enough. They're like, wow, I didn't realize. Now I'm going to be more conscientious. But then once we have that base, it's very basic, super simple tricks. Like for someone who is hungry all the time, they're confusing hunger with water. So it's every time you want to eat something, I tell them, put it on a plate on the counter. Don't eat it yet. Put it on a plate. Have a nice tall glass of water and set the timer for 10 minutes. If when you come back in 10 minutes, you still want to eat it, have at it. 9 times out of 10, people put it back.
I hope you don't mind, because I'm taking a quick note, because that's something very useful in terms of my conversations of how to talk to somebody to get to a good coach. So I encourage people in talks absolutely to take notes, move forward. So if you don't mind, I'm going to write some things down. You can keep talking. My brain will do that.
Yeah, go ahead. So I tell them the 10-minute rule, and so the like small tricks like that. The 10-minute rule works for most people because we live in this instant gratification world where I want that cookie. I'm going to go eat the cookie. It's like, well, why do you want the cookie? Are you really hungry? Are you bored? Are you nervous? Figuring out what emotions make you eat. And then are you just thirsty? Our body's cue for thirst and hunger are really similar. You don't just get a dry mouth when you're thirsty. Your body asks you for something, and we're so disconnected from our bodies nowadays that we don't even know what our bodies are asking us for, although you can learn that over time. But so giving yourself a few minutes to think about it, make sure you're hydrated, you're not just thirsty, and then you come back and most of the time you're like, yeah, I actually don't want it. And the feeling that you get, like, it's almost like a pride that you're like, I don't want that. Like, this is great. And then you put it back, and that sets the tone for more good decisions. So things like that. And then also, what we do, we call the stoplight, the traffic light way of sorting your food. So you have your green foods, which are all the things that you know you should eat, things that are going to be really good for you, things you want to eat a lot of. Those are what you want to have out on the counter, things you can see, easily accessible in the fridge. Then you have your yellow foods, the things that you like, but maybe you should not eat a lot of. You kind of put those things on the middle shelf. And then the ones that are your red light foods that literally, if I taste peanut butter, I lose it. It's like crack to me. So the peanut butter goes on the top shelf because I'm short and I can't reach it. And it's out of view. I put things in front of it. Just organizing your refrigerator that way, things you know you shouldn't eat to the back, things that you want to eat more of in the front, that when you open the cabinet, sure, you kind of know what's back there, but after a while you forget, and you're much more likely to make choices that are more in line with what your goals are if it's right in front of you. If it's on the counter, if it's right in front of you. My fruit on the counter, granola bars on the counter. All of my grains, my oats, my supplements, my protein powder, it's all on the counter. And then all the junk, that's like so far in the back of my cabinet that it actually takes work to find it. It's like, how many calories did I burn climbing that ladder to find the peanut butter? Like, now I can have 2 tablespoons.
That is a great tip in terms of organizing by the stoplight. I like that. Something you said there, you encourage your clients to therapy. And I want to draw a line there. And you know my history. I've been a therapist for 25 plus years and doing the coaching work for the past 10 or so. Therapy as a model is designed around mental illness. It's not designed around mental wellness. Coaching, on the other side, is designed around mental wellness. Therapy generally requires a diagnosis, meaning severe anxiety disorder, depression, et cetera. And again, if you have those things, then therapy is exactly the place for you, because that's where you can get the most in-depth types of help. If you don't have a diagnosed condition, then coaching can be equally or significantly more effective, provided you're choosing a coach that actually has a background to be able to help you. I am not a nutrition coach or a dietitian or a dietary coach. That's not what I do. Now, I will help my clients to understand that food is important and decision-making is important, and then refer to a specialist like yourself who can help in that area. Helping your clients get to somebody that can help with motivational coaching or mindset coaching or my title, peak performance coaching.
Coaching is what I should say, not therapy, but coaching. Because it really is a team effort. If you really want to make a lifestyle change, I'm not talking about the person that wants to lose 10 pounds. We're not talking about vanity pounds, but if you have a lot of weight to lose, if you have a lot of health issues, if you have a long road ahead, it takes a village. It is not an overnight change, and it is not quick, and you will fall off the wagon and you will gain some weight back probably. And
Yes.
It takes a long time. So I definitely recommend them to talk to somebody that's a professional. I'm a professional. I mean, I'm a certified nutrition coach. I'm a professional, but it takes more than me.
Yeah. Well, again, the fitness side and the nutrition side, that's your camp. The medical side, in terms of ensuring that their body is ready for the weight loss and ready for the changes, is also an important piece. The mindset side is an important piece. If we think about it realistically, coaching now is something that people didn't really talk about, kind of like therapy. But professional athletes, high-level performers, executives, they have multiple coaches that help them in different things. And that's why they continue to rise, because they don't rely on their own knowledge in every single area to be able to rise.
I have a coach.
No, as do I.
I have a coach for fitness and health, and I have a coach for business.
Wonderful. Yes.
Everybody needs a coach.
If you want to truly break out of your own habits and patterns, yes, a coach is a guide to help you do that. And much like you, I have multiple coaches as well, including business coaches and nutritional, and on and on and on the list goes, depending on the need. But unlike therapy, where you're in it for a set period of time, coaching is something that you do for a period of time. You hit the next milestone, you meet with a coach again, you hit the next milestone, you meet with a coach again, and it jumps you ahead. So I absolutely encourage my clients to work with a coach that specializes in the area that they're looking to make those changes in their lives. I have a financial coach, you know him well, Andy Trowbridge.
Yeah.
And he handles that part of it, and he coaches me along in those areas. I can figure it out, but I'm not an expert.
No, and will you do it in the most efficient way? Like, sure, people can lose weight. They can just not eat, but that's probably not the way to do it. And you can just cut all your carbs. And sure, you'll lose weight, but ultimately it's because you're in a calorie deficit, and it has nothing to do with the carbs. And stop hating on carbs.
Agreed.
So takeaways. Diet is a 4-letter word.
It's a 4-letter word. Absolutely.
We're all on a diet of some sort. A diet is just what you eat. So
nope, no diets.
Eat for our goals.
Nutritional programs, no diets.
Nutritional programs or lifestyles.
Another better word.
Eat for your goals.
Agreed. Eat for your goals. That's a great summary.
And give yourself time before you eat something to know if you actually want to eat it.
That is a great tip. And I know you're winding down, but I do want to go back to something else you said that was very, very wise in having your clients record things. And it does help with accountability, but it helps in a very neurological way. The front part of our brain is the I want center, and it helps to make those decisions of what we want, what we don't want. And ultimately it goes with what it wants, which is usually what isn't consistent with our goals. But when we write things down or we put them into an app, it moves it back in our brain, where our brain is much more logical. Once we see it, it's way back in the back of our brain that's used to identifying BS very quickly. It's used to pulling pieces of information. That's the visual center of our brain that helps us see, wait a minute, it's not I want, it's okay, this is what I'm really trying to work for. So logic enters the equation. That entire pizza that I want in the front of my brain, the back of my brain says, no, that's a bad plan.
Yeah.
So your idea on journaling is absolutely important for people, whether it's done electronically or done on paper. And that helps across any goal that somebody's working on, certainly nutrition as well.
And I ask some people, it depends on the client, but some people who have a really unhealthy relationship, some people just need the information. They just didn't know. I didn't know that I should eat this many carbs. I didn't know I was eating all carbs and no protein. I didn't know how much fat that had in it. I didn't know how many calories I was eating. You give them the information and they just take off with it and then they figure it out. And then there's people who have the information and just can't figure out why they can't get themselves to stop eating the cookies. I tell myself you don't need it. And every day I drive home from work and I stop at McDonald's and I get the sandwich and I tell myself every day I'm not going to do it. And why do I keep doing it? And this is where coaching more with a professional to dig deeper, because it's not about the food. It is absolutely 100% never about the food. There is something else going on, because food, we all need food. We have to eat food to survive. Food is going to be a part of our lives multiple times a day, every single day of our entire life.
Mm-hmm.
So to have an unhealthy relationship with it can be really dangerous. So I ask people to write what they ate, why they chose it, and how they felt after they ate it. And that really stirs up a lot of crying for most people.
Yeah.
Stirs up a lot. Why did I eat that? Well, because I ate the cookie because I want the cookie, because I know I shouldn't have it, but I'm self-sabotaging because someone told me I wasn't good enough and I believed it. And then it goes back to like their relationship with their dad or something, like it really can go pretty deep. So logging what you ate, why you chose it, and how you felt after is good to just remind yourself and also learn about yourself. So we are alone with ourselves all the time, but we don't really know ourselves, because we're thinking about what we have to do, and we're thinking about the other person, and we're thinking about our children, and we're thinking about the dog, and and we never even think about ourselves and who we are and why we do the things that we do. We literally don't even know ourselves. So taking the time to learn yourself and learn your habits and learn your triggers through the journaling process with food is absolutely life-changing. You can 100% be in control of not just what you eat, but how you feel about it. Because I have to diet for shows. The first few shows, I did not enjoy dieting. I hated every second of it. I was like, this is miserable. I can't eat this. I can't eat that. I'm hungry. I'm tired. And it was miserable. And then I finally said to myself, if I'm going to keep doing this as a sport, I don't want to be miserable for 5 months every time I do a show. So I changed my mindset of, I get to do this. I am lucky enough that I live in a safe enough place to even have these shows, and I get to eat vegetables, and I'm actually healthier. Even though I'm super lean, I'm healthier because I'm eating like all clean, super clean foods, because you can't really fit much else in there. But just changing the mindset of not what I can't eat, but I get to eat all of these things. I get to eat this. I get to eat that. I'm eating this. I have to remind myself every day, you want this. This is what you wanted. This is what you chose. So why would you choose something and then complain about it all the time? That doesn't seem like a great way to go about it,
Yeah, that is a great mindset shift of what you can and what you get to do, and reminding your brain to stay on the positive helps it to move in those directions. You're priming your subconscious brain. I get to do this. I'm so fortunate I can do this. I can go have this, which I enjoy just as much as that. And as you work with that over time, and you know this very well, that after a while, if you've not been eating a certain thing for a prolonged period of time, it doesn't taste so good anymore, because so many other things, your taste buds have moved on, and your taste buds relearn, and they change very quickly. They move on and realize that, I don't even want that anymore. The cookie, that's way too sweet. I don't want that.
Yeah, things are super sweet. Everything has sugar and everything has salt. So you lose the appreciation for simple flavors. And when you really get back to basics, and like, especially after a bodybuilding season, I mean, fruit is like amazing. You eat like a kiwi and you're like, oh my, I'll never eat a cookie again. Like, why didn't anybody tell me these were so delicious? Sugar.
Yeah, agreed. Absolutely agreed.
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, I think the journaling piece is great.
I agree.
The journaling, because you can also plan ahead, which is kind of the next level.
Mhm.
Once you figure that out and you get used to logging, you plan ahead. So like my entire day, everything I'm going to eat today, I already have it planned, which is great because if I want to have a slice of pizza or I know I'm going out to dinner that night and it's going to be a heavier meal, I put in the things I really want and then I plan the rest of my day around that. There is no reason that you can't eat the things that you want. You just have to be willing. You have to be willing to make changes in other areas.
Agreed. Agreed. And that planning allows for the consistency. I encourage clients to plan out their day the day before and all the activities they're going to be a part of and how they're going to do those things so that it's already down. They have a sense of control of it, and incorporating in your nutrition for the day. That makes complete sense. When you're in a sport like yours, or when you're trying to effect a change in your habits, that makes great sense. So I'm going to add that tip to my recommendations for clients going forward in their scheduling of actually planning out what their nutrition is going to look like. And then when they have the questions, get them over to your office.
Yeah. And I compare it to money. Would you just go out and just spend tons of money and just not even look at your checking account? Don't look at your budget. Like,
In
I'm
my
just going to go buy
younger
that
childish
just because I
days,
feel like it.
absolutely. Yeah, my younger childish days, absolutely.
Yeah. Okay. But it's like trying to retire. I'm just going to like, I don't know. I'll just put like $50 a week away and, maybe I'll, no, you want to know like, what's the end goal and what's in my budget? How much money do I actually have to spend? And if I do want to buy that big item, I'm going to have to cut back in other areas. And dieting and macro counting and all, it's exactly the same. It's what's the end goal and what are the steps to get there? And if I, just to eat all day and just hope that you lose weight, or like, well, what's your resting metabolic rate and how many calories are you burning during the day? So what can your body actually handle in terms of energy? And I talk about calories, but really what I talk to my clients about is energy, because it's all energy. You're putting it in, and if you're not putting it out, then this is where the disconnect is. But how much energy do you need? Figure that out, and then, just eat a little bit less, and then you're good.
That's a great approach.
Literally
Calories,
it's simple, yet challenging.
absolutely. Calorie is a unit of energy. You're absolutely right.
A kilojoule. Yeah.
Well,
It's a
that's a
heat energy.
great point. So any closing thoughts for today, or any closing points that you want to make sure that we touch on that either we haven't addressed, you haven't asked me, or I haven't asked you?
No, but I think we can do more of these because I had a lot of things we can talk about. But no, I just encourage people to talk to a professional of any kind about, making big changes in your life, because you definitely want to start off on the right foot. And because you can get really discouraged. And I want to remind people that change is very slow, and there is no magic pill, there is no magic potion. There is just hard work and consistency and consistency and consistency, and that's all you can do. And when you fall off, you get back on, and when you fall off, you get back on. And like my favorite phrase for my clients is, you can't fail if you don't quit.
Agreed.
You only
Agreed.
fail once you're done. If you're not done, you haven't failed yet. You're just still in it.
Absolutely agree. That's a great tip.
Yeah.
Great tip.
Awesome. Well, thanks for chatting with us today, Dr. Tom.
Oh,
And
thank
we
you.
are
Thank
going to
you.
have a link to your page and your bio info with this video, so people can get in touch with you if they like. And I just want to thank everybody for watching another installment of Wellness Wednesday, and we will see you next month.